Hi, this is E.T., and this is Peculiar History. I have a story for you. It's a rather bizarre one. A man emigrates from Syria, does well in the United States, has a daughter. They're estranged. She becomes a famous novelist. Here are the particulars. This here is Abdul Fattah Jandali. He is from Syria, specifically Damascus. Large family of, I believe it was 9 children. He is the youngest. The old man is rich. The mother, traditionalist Muslim. Nonetheless, they send him to a Jesuit boarding school in Lebanon. He will emigrate from there to the United States, New York, and he, now known as John Jandali, will live with the Syrian ambassador to the United Nations. And he will also pursue a graduate degree at Columbia University. Then he'll get a scholarship to to the University of Wisconsin and end up with a PhD in economics and political science. During that time in Wisconsin, he is a teaching assistant. He meets another graduate student named Joanne Schiebel. They will become a number. They live together. And he takes her to Syria to meet his family and learn Syrian ways for a woman to behave, in particular, how to cook that great cuisine. They come back. They want to get married. She is pregnant. Her father also has money, says no deal if he's a Muslim. With no other option at hand, she moves to San Francisco to put the baby up for adoption. The date, February 1955. The baby is adopted. Meanwhile, while all this was going on, Jandali left her, Joanne Schiebel, and eventually came back after her father died, and they did get married. They did have another child, this time a girl, that they named Mona. Well, what happens after this, few years after this, is a bit cloudy. They did go to Syria. He ran a refinery. The marriage apparently went sour. There was a divorce. And he will return to the U.S., Jandali will, in 1962, but she is already remarried and she's taken Mona, the daughter, with her. The name of the new husband, George Simpson, is now the name of Mona Simpson. Well, Jandali, back in the United States, will teach at the University of Wisconsin, then the University of, I think it was Nevada. Then he goes into a totally new enterprise altogether. He's in the restaurant business. He's running some really Tony affairs near the Bay Area, in particular San Jose and I think it was Sacramento. And then he, later in life, it would be a vice chairman of a major casino and hotel in Reno, Nevada. He has apparently no interest in meeting or knowing about the family that he left. Not the boy put up for adoption, not his former wife, Joanne, nor his daughter, Mona. She, however, by the late 1980s, wants to know about him. Keep in mind, nobody knows anything about the boy who was put up for adoption, and Joanne knows nothing about what happened to her former husband. Well, Mona wants to know something about her biological father. She hires a private detective, tracks him down in Sacramento. He's running a restaurant. This is the late 1980s. And she meets him at the restaurant. And he is rather blasé about the whole business. He does get animated, however, when the subject turns to his favorite subject, himself. And he's going on about a restaurant that he ran in San Jose. It was frequented by all of the high-tech guys, the ones from all the new startups and some of the older ones. He mentions all the big names that came in. Who did he mention? Oh, Steve Jobs, who he referred to as a real sweet guy and a big tipper. Now, keep in mind, Mona Simpson knows all about the boy who was adopted, and now she knows quite a bit about her father. And she asked him, any other children, or at least he brought it up. Yeah, there was a boy born before you, Mona. And she asked what became of him, and he said he didn't know, but he made some comment to the effect that that kid is gone, meaning gone from his life. Well, Mona Simpson is already a well-known and award-winning novelist, and she's going to go on and write others. And I recommend, if you have not done so, you read books by her. And one other thing of interest that I wanted to mention to you, she will marry a screenwriter named Richard Apple. Apple is writing scripts for a new show to go on television, and is still on, called The Simpsons. It got that name because Richard Apple, writing scripts for this show, took Mona's surname that she had before they were married and applied it to Homer Simpson. And that's the story. What? You want to know what happened to the boy who was put up for adoption? Well, I'll tell you what little I know. The couple who was originally set to adopt the child was supposed to be a college graduate, in fact, both the man and wife, to be college graduates. And Joanne had insisted on that. Keep in mind, she's going through an intermediary. She does not know who the people are. Well, the original couple to adopt the boy, he was a lawyer, she was a college graduate. They decided they wanted a baby girl. The only other couple available are Paul and Clara. They had married some years earlier. They could not have children. He was a World War II veteran, an enlisted guy, a very good mechanic, and super good with his hands, could build and do any kind of quality work. Clara, of Armenian ancestry, wanted simply to be a housewife and a mother. Neither one had a college degree. Neither had a high school diploma. Well, through the intermediary, Joanne found out about this, and she insisted, in that already the baby had bonded with Paul and Clara, insisted that they set up a fund for his later college education. They did, and it was a considerable hardship. The boy grew up with Paul and Clara in Los Altos, which is in what we know today, Silicon Valley, south of San Francisco, about 40 miles. And they had a middle-class neighborhood. The young boy was a very driven, very bright guy when it came to business and electronics. And he befriended a somewhat older boy in the neighborhood who was, by all accounts, an electronics genius. And he had developed a tabletop computer. Keep in mind the timing. The computer chips are getting small enough for this kind of thing. They, the adopted boy of Paul and Clara, and this other young man form a company. It does so well that by 1980, it goes public. Now, for many decades, that company's going to have its ups and downs. But by 2011 in August, it will be declared the largest publicly traded corporation in the world. And if you have not guessed yet the name of that corporation, it is Apple Inc. And that boy who Paul and Clara adopted was Steve Jobs. And that, my friends, is the story. If you liked it, so share it, will you, on other social media? Give it a thumbs up right in your comments below. Thank you.